Yesterday, I was out clubbing. I was in a bar at a hotel that I like, meeting a few locals, hoping to find new people to talk to and enjoy my time. I just meet the staff and the locals. And at this point, they feel like friends too. I wonder, man, this is so crazy. I would love to be here with my friends and with them meeting other people. I end up here talking to the staff as if they were my friend because that's how it feels. And they even invited me to a drink. So that was nice. And while the nights go on, I just move over to a club. How can we call this series? I think it's fitting if we just call it The Dark Side of Self Improvement. You would believe that if you work on yourself, your inner core being, your presentation, your communication, how you interact with the world, how you look, and everything in between, that people around you are going to support it and they're going to want to lift you up, and maybe they will let you walk with them too and help them along the way. But the sad truth is, if you're serious about this path and actually working on yourself, having therapy, coaches, doing the inner work, not just spiritual bypassing the words on your wound, but actually embracing them and transcend them into a story that you can share, to behavioral change and habitual adaptation that actually leads to a better life, you would hope that your friend's going to be there too, to not only cheer you up and support you, but also walk alongside you. But what I discovered lately is if you're the one pacing, that's just not the case. Working on yourself, I discovered, is actually not the easiest thing to do. And the more you work on yourself, the more you develop, the larger the delta gets between you and your current or previous friends. I would love to share with you all the benefits about growing and developing too. But today I feel like sharing with you the impact it has on my life that I didn't expect it. You actually lose connection with your friends over time. It doesn't matter how hard you try to soothe them, it doesn't matter how hard you try to get close to them. When people feel small around you, they're gonna pull back. Because I believe that it actually, in some way, a very healthy thing, because we as human innately feel and know that it is nice to reciprocate when we're giving something. And when people can't move the way you move, sometimes they're going to have a feeling they just can't name. Some will project insecurity towards you. Time will tell, right? Others are just going to get this weird feeling of what he's giving me is so much, I just can't pay back, which is weird because no one is expecting that. What I do expect from my friends is honesty, openness, loyalty. But even then, if the energy exchange is so vast that they feel the gap between what they're receiving and what they can pay back to you, this guilt, this burden is going to be so heavy that they have to pull away. And this is what I learned the hard way. I remember a situation in which I tried to help a few of my friends to put their family together, to get to understand both sides of the coin when it comes to their parents, the mother, the father, or the lack thereof. But it seems the more their life are put together, the more they notice what it actually takes to have a functioning household, to be the one who your parents now rely on to co regulate, to be the one to call the shots. And I can totally see that it is overwhelming if you feel like you have given a gift of skill to rebuild something that is most meaningful to you, and that's your family. And I can totally relate if you feel like you can't pay back what you are given, that you have to pull away. But it doesn't change the fact that as the receiver end of the thing, it's going to feel like betrayal. And this is a weird session. Maybe I'm not going to upload this one. Maybe I should. I'm still trying to figure out what I actually feel and what I'm trying to say. This is me resolving in real time. If you have any ideas, feel free to connect in the comment section. I'm totally open to conversation. I think I can put it more simply now. Sometimes the dark side of self improvement is that you outgrow your environment. If you hear things like you've changed, which I heard from my mom and a few of my friends, it's gonna hurt because the way they say it is not particularly with compassion or insight. Usually it comes with a certain degree of bitterness and set expectation for me to not grow, to not develop. But I like how Alex Hormozy said it. If you can reframe it, when people say you change, it's just because they have never learned to say you've grown. And that's what's actually true. If you're serious about this path of growth, path of self development, the integration of your own shadows, to assume that others are doing it at the same pace is just wild. I can totally relate that you want to walk this path with a few friends too, or at least a friend. And some might be lucky enough to have it. For me, I've started to learn to embrace solace and solitude. And I've started to learn to be grateful for the new people I meet along the way. Sure, it would have been nice if you can have your childhood friend or old friend walking alongside you, but everyone else has their own journey, walking their own pace and path. It's nice if you're lucky enough to have those align with you. But if you don't, I think there's a great value to be derived from having a mindset of gratitude towards new people that you meet. Those you call friends might feel like family to you, and it might be for them too. I've learned over hundreds of hours of therapy, coaching, and nowadays ChatGPT. The feeling of love is not enough for people to stay in your field if you're truly about growing and developing yourself. It's a gap you're going to create while others are trying to jiggle their fear of rejection, their anxiety towards growth, their projection of their own shadows toward others and or you. It's just a natural selection process that people are going to walk through. It doesn't mean they don't feel love towards you, because most of them might, and some of them even say that directly to me. But it requires a lot of character to also act in love. Just because they don't have it yet doesn't mean they can't develop it. But at the same time, just for you being a bigger man, understanding where they're coming from, doesn't mean you are shielded by what it makes you feel. And I guess I'm here today to share with you this process that I'm going through, letting the emotions of pain and disappointment run through my veins so it can, in some way, metabolize and relieve. But on the other hand, also to tell you that you're not alone. Many people feel like this. I've met many people when I lost my old friends who are actually matching my investment, who are actually good to me, who I don't have to be the one who called first. Don't have to tiptoe around them because they are so easy to develop anxiety or project all sorts of shit onto your blank canvas. Yeah. And when you embrace the fact that, hey, you know what? They might someday develop that. Someday our path might cross again. They might be able to meet you where you're at and the other way around as well. But maybe it's not. And maybe that's okay. Maybe both outcome is okay. Maybe there's even more outcome than that, right? And you just don't know. But what you can do is you can have faith in growing, in developing, in trusting that everybody who pulls themselves away from your life have their own reasons, and it might be good for you too. If you want to, still have them in their prayers and still act with in love towards them. But at the same time, also understand that you don't have to be always the one who called first. You don't have to be the one who initiates meetings. You don't have to tiptoe around someone who just feel insecure just by being around you. And I hope this is not coming off as braggy, because I definitely don't feel that. What I feel is I'm more clear in who I am. The people I used to have around me find more importance in having everyone around them like them rather than they like themselves. If you're finding your situation similar to mine and you feel lonely, I hope you can transmute that loneliness into solitude and you can embrace your path as a gift and understand that if you still keep walking, smiling, even with the pain that you feel, have them fuel you and transmute the inner turmoil into compassion and still walk your path doing what you do, I believe you're going to meet great people along the way. I certainly have, and I certainly do on a almost daily basis. And I believe those new friends that you're making going to fit your vibe and your energy field a lot better. Because if it wasn't true, you wouldn't meet them. You wouldn't vibe. I know it's a hard balance to find between letting your pain come up without bitterness, without anger, without blaming them, because the feeling of betrayal is real. It doesn't mean that they meant it. But also at the same time, just because they didn't mean it doesn't mean it didn't happen. And if you can keep your heart open and understand it, not only where everyone around you is coming from, but also yourself, and just walk your path, you're going to meet people who are more made for you along the way. I hope it has been helpful to you. If you feel lonely, I hope you embrace aloneness. Let me know in the comment section below if these kind of video also resonate with you. I actually really enjoy and love doing this. It is not the most polished video that I can make, but it's definitely honest. And I hope it's and I hope to hear you from your stories in the section below too. My name is Piddy. See you next time.